a $100 billion city built to house 700,000 people. Today, fewer than 10,000 actually live there. Skyscrapers stand half empty, shopping malls echo with silence, and streets meant for bustling crowds feel deserted. This is Forest City, Johor, Malaysia, a mega project launched with promises of utopia, but now considered one of the most expensive ghost cities in the world. The idea of Forest City began in 2006, but the official launch came in 2016, led by Country Garden, one of China's biggest developers, with the backing of the Malaysian government. The plan? Nothing less than the city of the future. 4 artificial islands in the Johor Strait across from Singapore, featuring smart homes, futuristic towers, lush golf courses, schools, shopping centers, even a duty-free zone. Marketing campaigns called it the Shenzhen of Southeast Asia. Promotional brochures showed sparkling towers, happy families, and crystal blue waters. Forest City wasn't just real estate, it was sold as a paradise, the future of urban life. At its peak, Forest City was expected to cost over $100 billion USD, making it one of the most expensive urban projects ever attempted. Its target population was 700,000 people. Thousands of apartments purchased on paper before towers were even built. Over 80% were Chinese investors, many treating the properties as second homes or investment assets. Construction raced ahead, towers rose quickly. At one point, Forest City was among the fastest growing development sites in the world. On paper, it was unstoppable, but beneath the glossy surface, cracks were already forming. The first red flag was environmental. Reclaiming massive amounts of land disrupted fishing communities and damaged nearby mangroves. Fishermen reported smaller catches. Conservationists warned that marine ecosystems were collapsing. But the biggest blow came in 2017-2018, when the Chinese government imposed restrictions on overseas property speculation. Overnight, sales in Forest City collapsed. Apartments once bought in bulk by Chinese investors sat empty. Meanwhile, Malaysia's political landscape shifted. The incoming government in 2018 criticized Forest City, calling it selling the country to foreigners. New policies made it even harder for non-Malaysians to buy or occupy units. The dream city was suddenly in freefall. By the early 2020s, the cracks were impossible to ignore. Journalists who visited Forest City described it as surreal. High-rises with only a handful of lights on at night. Vast shopping malls with more security guards than shoppers. Empty parks, perfectly paved streets, but almost no cars. At its lowest point, estimates suggested fewer than 5,000 residents were living in a city built for 700,000. A skyline without a heartbeat. Some called it Asia's biggest ghost town. Others labeled it the city that never was. For the few residents who did move in, daily life felt strange. On one hand, it was peaceful. Quiet streets, safe neighborhoods, ocean views. On the other, it was isolating. One resident described it as living in a dream that never woke up. Another said malls were so empty that their footsteps echoed across entire floors. Amenities promised in brochures, schools, vibrant nightlife, packed restaurants, never fully materialized. Imagine paying for a luxury condo overlooking Singapore, only to find yourself almost entirely alone. Today, Forest City sits at a crossroads. Towers stand tall, neighborhoods exist on paper, but the people never came. Developers continue to push marketing campaigns, arguing that Johor's location next to Singapore makes Forest City a long-term bet. They still insist it will thrive once global markets recover. But the reality is sobering. Units are priced far beyond what average Malaysians can afford. Political support continues to shift back and forth. The ghost city reputation scares off new buyers. And now, in 2023 and 2024, Forest City faces even more challenges. Its developer, Country Garden, has been battling China's real estate crisis and debt struggles. With billions at stake, the future of Forest City feels more uncertain than ever. Forest City might be one of the most ambitious ghost cities on Earth, but it's far from the only one. Around the world, The last 2 decades have produced mega projects that promise prosperity, only to collapse into silence. Take Ordos, China, often called the Dubai of the North. Built for nearly 1 million residents in Inner Mongolia, its Kangbashi district became infamous for vast plazas, towering apartments, and glittering museums that were almost entirely empty. For years, journalists filmed eerily deserted boulevards, a futuristic city without a population. Although Ordos has slowly attracted more residents over the past decade, it still stands as a symbol of China's overbuilding problem. Then there's Calamba, Angola. Constructed by a Chinese developer in the early 2010s, it cost around $3.5 billion and was designed to house 500,000 people. At its launch, Calamba was heralded as Africa's model city of the future. But when apartments were priced far beyond the reach of ordinary Angolans, the city remained eerily vacant. Rows of pastel-colored towers stood like a stage set, waiting for a community that never came. Even in the Middle East, the story repeats. Parts of Dubai and Abu Dhabi feature half-finished or under-occupied luxury towers, reminders of how quickly speculative bubbles can inflate and how fragile they are when demand doesn't meet supply. So, what makes Forest City unique? Unlike Ordos, Calamba, or Dubai's unfinished towers, Forest City is not tucked away in a remote desert or a far-off province. It sits directly across from Singapore, one of the busiest and wealthiest city-states in the world. You can literally stand in Forest City and see Singapore's skyline glowing with life across the water. That eerie contrast, vibrant prosperity on one side, near silence on the other, makes Forest City one of the most haunting urban experiments of the modern era. So, what does the future hold for Forest City? Right now, the city feels suspended in a strange limbo. Not abandoned, but not alive either. Billions have already been sunk into the project. Towers are built, infrastructure is in place, and entire neighborhoods technically exist. What's missing is the one ingredient no developer can fabricate: people. On paper, the developers still paint a picture of hope. They argue that Johor's location, just a short drive across the border from Singapore, makes Forest City a long-term bet. If Singapore continues to expand and its housing costs rise, the overflow could one day spill into Johor, giving Forest City the residents it has always lacked. Supporters say it's only a matter of time before the city comes to life, but the skeptics point to harsher realities. Country Garden, the Chinese developer behind the project, has been at the center of China's property crisis, struggling under massive debts in 2023 and 2024. If the developer itself falters, what happens to the future of Forest City? There's also the issue of affordability. Units in Forest City were priced with wealthy foreign buyers in mind, not ordinary Malaysians. Even if the city did attract interest, who exactly would live there? Without a population that can sustain schools, shops, and community life, Forest City risks becoming nothing more than a luxury shell. And then there's the reputation problem. Once a city earns the label of Ghost City, it's hard to shake. Investors hesitate. Families think twice. The perception itself becomes a barrier to revival. Forest City is caught in this trap, where its very identity now works against its chances of survival. Still, there's a sense of mystery. Could Forest City one day surprise everyone? Roaring to life as Singapore's overflow hub, its towers finally lit with residents? Or will it slowly decay in the tropical heat, a billion-dollar monument to ambition gone wrong? For now, the city stands in eerie silence, waiting for its fate to be decided. Forest City was meant to be a triumph of human ambition, a vision of tomorrow rising from the sea. But instead of a bustling metropolis, it became a skyline without a heartbeat, a $100 billion experiment drifting in silence. It isn't the first ghost city, and it won't be the last. From Ordos in China to Calamba in Angola, the world is littered with grand dreams that never woke up. And yet, Forest City feels different. It doesn't sit in the middle of nowhere, it stares directly at Singapore, one of the most vibrant cities on earth. The contrast is haunting. One side alive with energy, the other echoing with emptiness. So the question remains, is Forest City a sleeping giant waiting for its moment to rise? Or will it remain a glittering skeleton slowly weathering under the tropical sun, a reminder that concrete and glass can't build community? What do you think? Will Forest City one day come alive, or will it forever be one of the world's most haunting ghost cities? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoy stories of the abandoned, the rotten, and the forgotten, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for the next journey.